Hey, Meghann Scully, and this is the Limerick Post Show. Coming up in today's show, the big interview is with Ruairi McKiernan of Narrative 4. First up, though, the top stories in Limerick, and the University of Limerick have signed a new diploma with Revenue. It comes as almost 200 Revenue students are set to graduate. Next up, we have launched a brand new podcast. Meals for Millennials with Meghann and Owen is a 6-part series that is going to take you through some very easy, healthy and nutritious meals. First up, though, the Out and About section in Limerick, and TLC have launched their 6th Team Limerick cleanup. First up, though, the Great Limerick Run launch took place in the Strand Hotel, and we headed along to see what's going on.
Hey John, so we're here at the Strand Hotel another year, Regeneron Great Limerick Run. You might tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, look, absolutely. It's thanks for coming here. First of all, it's our 11th year. We've 10 done. Time really flies. When you look back on it, it doesn't seem like 11 years since we started out on this journey. And the numbers, I suppose, have gone from strength to strength. Last year we were just around 14,000 participants, and this year we're hoping to hit somewhere between 14 and 15,000 participants, all going well. So if the weather today is an omen for what's ahead of us, it's a good start. You know, we've over 3,000 people registered already, and we're only hitting the launch today. So very, very happy with that. So it's all good.
So what are we doing here today, John? What's
So today is our event launch. So we invited all our press and our sponsors, and we kick it off now. We've about 16 weeks to go to the event, and the focus for a lot of people's training programs, and just to put it in people's mind, maybe a welcome distraction from the elections, is that there's something on in May. There's a big event on in May, obviously between the Regeneron Great Limerick Run, Riverfest. We're going to announce today. The ULands are announcing Hudson Taylor and the Big Top as well on the same weekend. So huge positives for Limerick, and hopefully, as ever, the May Bank Holiday weekend in Limerick will be a bumper weekend for everyone.
So what does an event like the Great Limerick Run do for Limerick, John?
Yeah, so look, first of all, the objective of the event from day one was to showcase Limerick and showcase all that's good about Limerick, and I certainly think it's doing that. Limerick is such a sporting capital, such a welcoming place. We know the people of Limerick are great, but now this event gives us an opportunity to show it to other people. We have visitors here from all 32 counties, from over 22 countries. So that's what it does, I suppose, from a showcasing point of view. From an economic point of view, it's worth over 4.5 to 5 million euros to the economy each year, which is no small amount of money for local businesses. And also it provides a great platform for many charities to raise not just money but also profile. So it checks an awful lot of boxes for lots of people.
The importance of the sponsors, John, and all of what you're doing here.
Yeah, look, without sponsors, these events just simply can't happen. This event is a fantastic example of a public-private partnership where we engage with the City Council and the likes of the Gardaí and the HSE, but also the private sector. So obviously you'll see the likes of Regeneron, who are our title sponsor, but equally the likes of Bonsa Course, who sponsor our children's event, the Crescent Shopping Centre, who sponsor our volunteers aspect, Clean Ireland, who help us with our recycling, and so forth, and there's many more besides. So huge cooperation and investment from our sponsors, which I think really reflects the level of confidence to have in the event and the city.
In terms then of the registration process, John, and if people want to get involved this year, we're after coming out of Christmas now, people are beginning to look at the tummies and other things. They want to start from today. What do they do to register?
Yeah, it's very simple, George. GreatLimerickRun.com. Go onto the website, there's a registration link there, it'll take you straight to the page. 3,000 people have already done it, so it's quite straightforward, and or you can call into our office in the Tate Centre, whichever is easiest, but most people will register.
Well, hopefully it'll be as successful as it has been. I didn't realise even the numbers last year were actually 21,000 we had out last year. Now, it wasn't 21,000 on Good Friday, but because schools take part over the week coming up to it, and business take part in the weeks coming up to it in the build-up. So, but with 21,000 out on the streets last year, which is pretty incredible, and it's been a big success. It's a great one-day clean-up, and I think getting the people on the streets is great, and the big thing we want to do is probably change the culture a little bit and change people's habits, and that's not an easy thing to do, but it can happen. You look at drink driving laws now, or you look at the way people put on a seatbelt now, or you look at the way people have to bring a bag with them when they go for a walk with their dogs. You can change people's habits, particularly habits you thought 20 years ago would have never ever changed. So, I was over in Japan at the World Cup in Tokyo, and it was one of the things that blew me away was how tidy the whole place was, and the way they do it is they've no bins. They've no bins on the street, so people actually have to bring their rubbish home with them. That's the way they do it. It's pretty incredible. So you can change habits and you can change culture, and that's what the big day is about. It's about getting people out on the streets, but I suppose it's about parents and guardians getting their kids out on the road as well, and showing the kids this is what you do and this is how you look after your area. So it's been a big success. We're lucky that JP McManus Benevolent Fund is behind it, so I suppose we're able to advertise it, we're able to make people aware of it. We're lucky Mr. Binman is behind it. They do an incredibly efficient job, so that anything is picked up during the day is taken away by that night. And Limerick County Council as well, County and City Council do a great job, because it's a big logistical operation. So we're lucky with so many partners, and we're lucky, I suppose, the people in Limerick have taken to it. It's the 6th time now we've done it, which is amazing. It was an idea that myself and JP and Helen O'Donnell came up with over a cup of tea one day, and as I said, it's gone from strength to strength. It's a great event.
As a Limerick native, Paul, how does it feel seeing those numbers grow to 21,000 last year?
Yeah, it's great to be involved in something like this, particularly something that was hatched over a cup of tea one day. As I said, with the JP McManus Benevolent Fund, we're lucky that we can advertise it. We can, we run competitions, the pickers, the high-vis jackets, the gloves, the bags. We're able to run a really good campaign because we can put a bit of money behind it. So I am proud of it. I enjoy it. We need it to follow on now, though, and have I suppose a lasting effect, so that it has an effect all year round.
It's absolutely fantastic. I can't believe it's 6 years, and noticing there from the poster, the rubbish has come down year on year, so we are getting better, but unfortunately there's still a lot of work to be done, and the enthusiasm is extraordinary. We had people asking last week when was registration open, so people are up for it. It's established in the calendar now. The Good Friday is TLC Day in Limerick, and other places are following, so it's very, very exciting.
And you've mentioned the number of rubbish collected has gone down, but the number of participants has grown. What does that mean to you?
Just to have so many people involved, so many people committed to keeping Limerick clean and green is really, really exciting.
Well, I think we've been trying to encourage the clubs down in Limerick to get involved with this exercise that's been driven within the community. It's been going since 2015. It's proven a great success. I'd look on this as an attempt to change the culture in the area and get people to think about litter and to think about what they actually do it when they have it and how they dispose of it. And I think you can see by the figures over the years how much the numbers have actually improved in terms of the tonnage that's actually being collected from 2015 up to 2019. And it's about getting people to think, and the thinking comes from your culture and how you feel about your environment. But I think ultimately it'll leave a positive message sitting in Limerick, and hopefully that'll grow. We value ourselves as a community-based organisation, and anything that makes community life better for people, I think we should all be getting in behind it and supporting it and getting people's thinking. It goes on a lot in schools in terms of the green flag, but us older generation probably are not as aware of it, and probably it's our younger kids and that actually pull us and make us think about what we do with litter. So it is cultural. I think it's something that we need to turn in a positive manner.
We're here in Narrative 4 and I'm joined by Ruairi McKiernan. Welcome to the team.
Thanks very much. Excited to be here.
Now, you've just joined. What is the plan for Narrative 4 for 2020?
The plan for Narrative 4 for 2020 is bigger and better all around. Obviously, it's an amazing organisation. It's done great work around Limerick, Munster, Ireland, and it's international now in Palestine, the US, South Africa and beyond. And our plan, and basically my job as European Director, is to expand it more around Ireland, but also into the UK and throughout Europe. So it's exciting times. We obviously need to find the money and the support and the partners and all that. But so far, so good. Lots of great people and everything feels like it's ready to go.
And how did you first hear about Narrative 4?
I heard about it through a friend of mine called Colin McInerney, who's a world-class musician, violinist. Was in a band called The Frames that some people may have heard of. Very renowned Irish band, and Colin had spoken hugely passionately about Narrative 4, and I knew that this was an organisation that was different. I knew there was something going on there, so I was very curious to find out more. And then this kind of job came up, and we got chatting, and just one thing led to another, and the stars aligned. So it seems like the right place, the right time, and hopefully the right people. Yeah.
It's such a great spot and such a great location here. Now, one thing I remember reading years ago was how you were up in the big smoke, living the Dublin lifestyle or just living up there, and then you packed it all in and you came west. Can you tell me about making that transition?
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Cavan and I've lived in Donegal and Galway, and so I'm not unfamiliar with the West Coast and the West in general. But yeah, I was living in Dublin for the last 8 years, more or less, and was running an organisation called Spun Out, and then got involved in other organisations such as Uplift and SOAR and Goshka and many others. And I suppose my wife's a musician, her name's Susan Quirk, and she's a meditation teacher as well. Just plugging my wife all the time when I can. And yeah, we had a very good life in Dublin, and great family, great friends, great community. Actually, our family are more elsewhere in Cavan and the West and so on. My wife's from Limerick, up Limerick. And yeah, I suppose ultimately the rent situation kind of was pushing us, like it is hundreds of thousands of people all are, and mainly younger people as well. And I feel very strongly about that we can't just pretend that it's not happening, and there's a great human toll being paid for that, and a lot of suffering, and a lot of interesting. We're talking about narrative 4, we're talking about stories, but there's a lot of stories that aren't getting told about housing and homelessness and the pressures. But in many ways, there's a positive side to our stories, that we got to move to Clare, or we decided to move to Clare and built a new life there, and it's all good. And now, so I'm between Limerick and Clare and on the road as well. So I'm still in Dublin, still love Dublin, but it's great to be in the West as well.
Oh, it's an incredible place, the wild Atlantic waste. You've got the ocean, and then you've got the city lifestyle in Limerick as well. So you've kind of got the best of both worlds.
Yeah, well, Limerick's the hot place to be now. So it feels a little bit like Detroit in the US. You know, there's a lot of arts, a lot of culture, a lot of renewal, regeneration going on. And Narrative 4 is part of the regeneration work that's going on all around the city as well. And it feels like I deeply feel that the arts and that element of cultural renewal is really important, and I think storytelling has a massive role to play in hearing about our heritage, our culture, but also not just, I suppose, native Limerick or native Irish, but all the new communities that are coming into Ireland. And we have a migrant girls project here, Narrative 4, and it's bringing all the diversity, all the soup, all the knowledge and all the wisdom from all around the world together. And I think that's how we can build a better world, ultimately, is when we get to understand each other. And that's ultimately what Narrative 4 is about exchanging stories, getting to understand each other, build empathy, build connection, break down barriers and stereotypes.
It's such an exciting time for Narrative 4. Now, I want to talk as well about some of your own projects, because I did sign up to your newsletter now today. So tell me all the stuff that you do.
Well, probably less stuff now that I'm so focused on Narrative 4. But yeah, I have a podcast called Love and Courage. And I've interviewed some amazing folk like Lynn Rowan, the Senator, Vicky Phelan, who's more or less a Limerick woman at this stage. Sister Stan, Christy Moore, Luca Bloom. So a lot of, there's a slight element of musicians there, but activists, musicians, innovators, thinkers. And I suppose it started because I love reaching out to wise people to see what they might teach me. And it's a great privilege to have those conversations and now to share them with the world. And I suppose on the side from that, I get involved a lot in social justice campaigns. I feel strongly about, it's called a climate emergency, but I also see it as an ecological collapse, and I feel we're all compelled to respond in some way to that. Also, direct provision, I feel strongly that we need to do more to kind of end that cycle of, it's a cycle that goes back decades in Ireland, institutionalisation and putting people away and almost locking them away. I know they're not locked in as such, but I feel we need to do more. So I like to be involved more in the community in that regard. And generally just being involved in making Ireland a better place, and then going to live music and trying to have fun as well, and not taking life too seriously in the middle of it all.
Well, I think it's safe to say that you're in the best city for it all.
Yeah, it is. No, it's great, and there's so many writers and artists and musicians surrounded around Narrative 4, and that, I feel like that brings a lot of life and a lot of energy and a lot of sparkle to Narrative 4. And I think as we expand throughout Ireland and Europe, I think Limerick is very much at the heart of it and will stay at the heart of it. And I feel Limerick will really be the European hub for Narrative 4.
Oh, it's so exciting, such exciting times. Ruairi, where can we find you on social media to keep up to date with everything?
So I'm on the old Twitter machine, Ruairi McKiernan, Instagram, Ruairi Mac. What else am I on? LinkedIn, Facebook, / Hope Hitching, something like that. Anyway, Google me, Ruairi McKiernan, and yeah, it's all around the internet. I know, I can't keep up with it, all the madness these days.
Ruairi, thank you so much for trying the Limerick Post show, and sure we'll be chatting to you again in a couple of months to see what exactly is going on again.
Brilliant, looking forward to it. Thanks very much. Thank you.
For these stories and so much more, head over to limerickpost.ie /show. I'm Meghann Scully. This is the Limerick Post show, keeping Limerick posted.